Welcome back to the Bad Influence podcast, where we keep it real, raw, and honest about life's toughest challenges. Today's episode is something that hits home for me personally, and I know a lot of you guys out there will relate to it. The discomfort of being a man. Oh boy. This isn't some political bullshit, red pill bullshit, or anything like that. This is my experience. Because I grew up with no role models, like I have said before. So I want to talk about this because I have been observing a lot of guys going through this. There's a lot of reality TV shows where guys show this kind of discomfort that I felt. So I was like, you know what? Let's talk about it because it's getting worse. It's getting a lot worse. And let's face it, being a man comes with a lot of expectations, and many of them are impossible to live up to. Society tells us we must be strong, provide for our families, be leaders, and have it all figured out by the ripe old age of 18 years old. That's how we felt, at least for me. But what if you don't feel like you have it all together? What if the fucking expectations placed on you just make you feel uncomfortable and out of place? If you've ever felt like this, you're not alone. That's what we're diving into today. We're going to talk about the challenges men face during those uncomfortable phases of life. Whether it's getting married, starting a family, or just trying to figure out your place in the world. There's this unspoken pressure to perform, to know what you're doing, but here's the truth. Many of us don't know what we're doing at all, and that's okay. That's honestly okay. So, stick around if you ever felt like this, if you ever felt like you don't measure up or like you're stumbling through life trying to live up to the world's expectations of manhood. Because by the end of this episode, you'll see that discomfort isn't a weakness. It's something you can use to your advantage. Let's get into the problem at the heart of this issue, shall we? The problem is, society has this picture perfect of what a man should fucking be. Tough, reliable, financially secure, emotionally strong, and of course, a leader in his relationships and career. You have to have it all pretty much. You have to be like fucking Superman in this situation. The problem is, this image creates a huge amount of pressure on men, especially when we don't feel like we fit into that mold. For many of us, we feel uncomfortable because we're expected to just know how to be a man, but we never actually get taught how to handle all these responsibilities. Again, like I have mentioned, nobody was there for me growing up saying like, I'm gonna teach you how to do this, I'm gonna teach you responsibilities, I'm gonna teach you how to handle your emotions. Nobody. I had no adult supervision. When I say that, people are like, that it couldn't have been that bad. Oh, it was fucking bad for me as I started to get older because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. For example, the pressure to be the breadwinner, to always be in control of our emotions, and to be the one who makes all the fucking decisions in a relationship can be overwhelming and lead to feelings of inadequacy to the point that we get angry because we don't know what to do and we don't get the space or time to think. Right? You know what I'm talking about, where someone, sometimes your spouse or your girlfriend, your friends, your family are like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? And you're just like, let me think. But they don't give you that fucking time and that fucking space. Oh, that has happened to me. It has happened throughout my marriage. It has happened throughout my life. And this discomfort can show up in all areas of life. Maybe you feel uncomfortable in social situations, like you're not confident enough to lead a conversation or stand out in a crowd. Maybe it hits harder at home, where you're expected to be a great husband, a great provider, but you're secretly feeling like you're failing. Or maybe it's at work, where the pressure to succeed can make you feel like you're not good enough. Whatever the fucking case may be, that discomfort can be isolating. Like you're the only one struggling. I have felt like that for a really long time. But here's the thing, most of us feel this way at some point. You're not alone in feeling uncomfortable or out of place in your role as a man. The issue is that we don't talk about it enough. There's this fucking stigma. Oh, if you don't have it figured out, you're not a man. Oh, if you're struggling, you're weak. Well, fuck you to whoever says that, because I have heard it a lot, especially on social media. And fuck that bullshit. Because the problem is, we don't address how hard it is to live up to these expectations, and that silence only makes the discomfort worse. That's why it's so important to have conversations like this. Adult conversations. Not fucking childish conversations where you try to say, like, you know what, I'm struggling with this, and some dumb motherfucker is gonna tell you, oh, well, you're not a man. I heard this fucking dumbass say on social media, if your mortgage is not over 20,000, you're not a man of success. You suck. I'm like, what the fuck does that even mean? So by having these conversations, we can start breaking down those unrealistic standards and find healthier ways to navigate the challenges. We can become a tribe. We can find our people if we have these conversations. I remember feeling the most uncomfortable about being a man when I got married. Here I was, at the ripe old age of 27, expected to step up and be the perfect husband, the provider, the caregiver, the know-it-all, the fix-it-all. But honestly, I didn't know how to do any of that. I didn't grow up with a solid role model for what a husband should be. My dad cheated on my mom multiple times, so that's not a good role model. And my brother is an idiot, not a good role model. Even my uncle cheated and had a child with someone else outside of marriage, allegedly. And I believe it's true, because I have seen the pictures of the kid and I have heard rumors and all that shit, and it turned out to be true. I also had never lived in a house before. I grew up in apartments, and I was never comfortable at home. So when I got married, I had no idea how to handle the expectations that came with it. And there were so many expectations. I remember feeling like I was in over my head. Like I was playing a role I wasn't fucking prepared for. And it was incredibly uncomfortable. I was mad. I was sad. My emotions were all over the place. It was tough. It's not like I could turn into the husband my wife needed overnight. That's fucking impossible. And let me tell you this, ladies, because I hear this shit all the fucking time. Well, we got married. You need to become the best fucking husband. And you need to become the best of this, of that. It's like, ladies, let me tell you this. Just because you're in a relationship with a guy, just because you marry him, just because you're actually living with him, doesn't mean that all that fucking knowledge of how to become a husband, how to become the best of everything, how to be knowledgeable and be like a wise Zen master comes to you automatically. No, that's impossible. I have heard ladies say that. It's like, well, once we get married, you're going to grow up and you're going to do this. And then the relationships fail because of that. Because of all that fucking expectations that don't make sense. It's like if a guy, and I'm just gonna put it this way, it's like if a guy says, as soon as we get married, you're gonna be able to cook 5-star meals, but the wife doesn't know how to fucking cook, right? You're going to wash all my clothes, take care of the house, but what if the wife doesn't know how to do that? There's been cases, I've seen it, especially with younger people. They don't know how to use a fucking washer, a fucking dryer, even the dishwasher. I've seen it. And it's like, what the fuck, you know? So now you have two people getting married. One expects a lot from the other and vice versa. But for men don't talk about it even with their friends. Women usually talk about shit like that with their friends. Men don't do that. And here's what happened in my case. My wife and society were expecting me to be this perfect version of a husband, but I didn't know how to fulfill those roles. I felt completely out of place. I didn't know how to do things around the house or how to support my wife the way I thought I should. I felt like I was failing in this fundamental aspect of being a man, and that created a huge sense of discomfort. It was like I was wearing shoes that didn't fit. They looked fine on the outside, but on the inside, I was struggling to walk in them. They were too big for me. They were too big, and I was tripping. I was stumbling. I was making mistakes. But instead of letting that discomfort paralyze me, I decided to use it as a learning opportunity. I realized that just because I didn't know how to be the husband society expected me to be, didn't mean I couldn't learn. Because I'm a fucking learner. And I wanted my relationship to work. I wanted to become the husband my wife needed, especially after she got sick. So I embraced my discomfort and used my natural curiosity to figure things out. I started observing role models like Eric Thomas or Tom Bilyeu and others, men who were open about their struggles but still succeeded. Men that have gone to similar stuff that I have gone to with my wife. These two, Tom Bilyeu and Eric Thomas, their wives got sick, just like my wife. And they overcame those issues, they overcame those struggles and made the relationship better than ever. And I was like, if they can fucking do it, I know I can. I paid attention to how they navigated relationships and responsibilities and used that to become a better husband. This journey of turning my discomfort into a strength was not fucking easy, but it was incredibly rewarding. And I want to share this hope and motivation with you today. Discomfort isn't something to run from. It's something you can learn from and use it to grow into the man you want to be. I didn't grow up with a strong example of what a man should be, but I learned to build my own role model by embracing my discomfort and turning it into a strength. And that's what I want to share with you today. So, let's break down how this discomfort manifests and what you can do about it. First off, recognize that feeling uncomfortable as a man doesn't mean there is something wrong with you. It's a natural response to the pressures society places on us. It's a natural response to the pressures that your family places on you. The key is to understand that discomfort comes from a gap between what's expected of us and what we feel capable of. And that gap, sometimes it's so small, sometimes it's so fucking big. But that's where growth happens. One strategy for navigating this awkwardness is to seek out role models or mentors who can provide guidance and support. Sometimes it can be your own dad, if he's a good role model, your uncle, if he's a good role model, a neighbor, someone. Sometimes even your bishop, if you go to church, shit like that. Just find that one person that has gone through hell in their relationship and made it through. Another step is to be open and honest about your struggles, as this can help break down the unrealistic standards and create healthier ways to navigate the challenges. Once you do that, you're going to start seeing the challenges from a different perspective. The first step to coping with this discomfort is to embrace it. So stop fighting the fact that you feel uncomfortable or out of place. Instead, lean into it and accept that it's a sign you're in a phase of growth. If you're feeling uneasy about something, whether it's how to be a good partner, how to succeed at work, or how to lead in your community, it's a signal that you're being pushed beyond your comfort zone. And that's a good thing, believe it or not. Because once you embrace it, once you decide to learn through it, and go through it, and grow through it, you're going to see something that you never thought it was possible. You're going to see a different version of you. And that will be a good version of you. The next step is to start learning. If you don't know how to do something, like I didn't know how to be a husband, get fucking curious about it. Look for role models. Watch how others handle those responsibilities. And don't hesitate to ask questions. It's okay to not have all the answers. What matters is that you're willing to learn and improve. One of the things that my wife has said to me from the very beginning, she said this within months of us getting married. Because I asked her, how come you married me? What made you marry me? This is her answer. She said, well, I like your personality. I love everything about you. But the most important thing is that I saw potential. I saw something that made me think he can be turned into something great. Her words, not mine. I'm not making this shit up. You can ask her. And just by her believing that made me realize that I could do it. I just needed that one person to tell me there's potential in you. There's potential. Many others have said the same thing before her, but I never believed it. But now I was living with this person. I had to take care of this person. And she's the one that told me, you have potential. So I had to find that potential. And I fucking found it. Another thing that you have to do, and this is what I did, because I went through this with my wife. Don't go through this journey alone. Talk to other men about your experiences. Now, you can talk to other men or your partner, which is also important. I did this during the pandemic and all, and after my wife got sick. So she was the only one that I could talk to. I tried talking to other men about that, but they were like, oh, you don't know how to do things. Oh, you're weak, you're that. So I was like, fuck you. If you're going to judge me, go fuck yourself. In some instances, you'd be surprised how many other guys are feeling just as uncomfortable as you are, but are too afraid to admit it. From all my friends, from all the people that I have talked to in the last 10 years after I got married, I have only found like 2 guys willing to talk about this, willing to talk about how they feel as a man. And that's why we want to end this. We want to end that stigma. Because when you have a tribe, when you have this group of men behind you, knowing how it feels, knowing that they are going through the same shit as you, oh, that changes the whole damn playing field. Because now you have somebody that you can go to and be like, I don't know how to solve this. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to think about this. They're going to help you. But you also have to understand that there's strength in vulnerability. And by sharing your struggles, you'll not only help yourself, but also those around you who might be going through the same fucking thing, which is important. It's important to understand all of this. And you might be thinking, but I don't want to admit that I'm struggling. Isn't that a sign of weakness? I have heard this question before. I have asked myself that question before. And here's the thing. Acknowledging your challenges isn't a weakness. In fact, this is a fucking fact. It's one of the most powerful things you can do as a man. Because we live in a world where men are taught to keep everything bottled up. But all that does is create more pressure and more discomfort. The truth is, admitting that you don't have it all figured out is the first step to actually figuring it out. You're saying, okay, fuck this. I have a problem. I don't know how to fucking fix this problem. So there's only one solution for that. Figuring out a solution to that problem. That's why you have to acknowledge it. Because now you're seeing it. You're like, oh, this is right here in front of me. And I have to figure it out. I know this firsthand. When I finally admitted to myself that I didn't know how to be a husband, the husband my wife needed, that's when I started to learn. That's when I fucking started to grow. That's when everything changed. My whole mindset, my whole perspective of life, the way that I saw myself. And the same thing can happen for you. Whatever area of life you're feeling uncomfortable in, it can happen. Whether it's in relationships, work, or personal growth, start by admitting you don't have all the answers. Then get curious and start learning. The world needs more men who are willing to embrace their discomfort and use it as a tool for growth. When you stop hiding from the discomfort and start facing it head on, you'll find that the very thing you thought was holding you back is actually what's pushing you forward. And here's the best part. This is the best part. When you learn to navigate your own discomfort, you become a role model for others. You show other men that it's okay to be vulnerable, to learn, and to grow. It doesn't fucking matter how old you are. You can start in your 20s, or even in your teens, in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. It doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter. Age is just a fucking number. It doesn't matter when you decide to get out of that discomfort and become more comfortable with yourself, as long as you're willing to do it. So don't be afraid of the discomfort. Embrace it, learn from it, and let it drive you to become the man you were meant to be. Now, let's get into some practical steps for coping with and overcoming the discomfort that comes with being a man. First, make it a point to embrace your discomfort. This might sound counterintuitive, but the more you fucking resist it, the more it will weigh on you. Accept that feeling awkward is part of the process, and instead of avoiding it, lean into it. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this situation? The water main broke. What the fuck can I learn from this? The only thing that you have to learn at this point is learn how to shut it off and maybe fix it yourself, or how to find a good plumber that is not going to fucking rip you off. Second, find role models or mentors who can help guide you to these uncomfortable phases. Whether it's someone in your life or a public figure you admire, pay attention to how they handle the challenges of being a man. Don't focus too much on their wealth or their material shit. like their cars, their houses, their women, shit like that. No, focus on how they handle the challenges. That's the important part of learning. Learn from their mistakes and their successes, and don't be afraid to reach out for advice if you can. Third, focus on building your own definition of manhood. Society has a lot of outdated and unrealistic expectations for what it means to be a man, right? So instead of trying to fit into those molds, take some time to figure out what kind of man you want to be, what kind of husband you want to be, what kind of father you want to be. What are your values? What are your priorities? Build a life that reflects who you truly are, not who the world tells you to be. Also, practice self-compassion. You're not going to get everything right, and that's okay. Being a man doesn't mean being perfect. It means being willing to grow, to learn, and to improve. Give yourself grace when you stumble and keep moving forward. I believe in your capability to navigate the discomfort of being a man and come out stronger on the other side. It's not about avoiding the uncomfortable faces. It's about embracing them and using them to fuel your growth. Every challenge you face is an opportunity to learn more about yourself and become the man you want to be. An unstoppable force that nothing can stop. An unstoppable force that everybody will look at and be like, damn, I want to be like him. An unstoppable force that when your wife sees you, your partner, your girlfriend, whatever, sees you achieving shit that helps you change your lives, she will be, or he will be, whatever, damn, that's my man. Remember, it's okay to feel uncomfortable. It's okay to not have all the answers. What matters is that you're willing to learn, to grow, and to improve. That's the most important thing in life, to do those three things. And by embracing your discomfort, you're taking the first step towards becoming the best version of yourself. And that's something to be proud of. Because you're saying to yourself, yes, I'm uncomfortable. Yes, this is going to be hard. I'm scared. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm going to stumble. I'm going to fumble. I'm going to do all these things. I'm going to scrape my knees. I'm going to get hit hard by life. But I'm still going to learn. I'm going to grow. And I'm going to get through it. And that's it for today. Thank you for joining me today on the Bad Influence podcast. If this episode resonated with you, share it with someone who might be feeling the same pressures as us. Because together, we can change the conversation around what it means to be a man and help each other navigate the awkward phases of life with confidence and strength. So stay curious, stay uncomfortable, and keep pushing forward. Until next time, have a great day.